Hey guys, Coach Chris here, back with another video, concluding coverage of the second annual Mayfield Summer Open. Had black in the final round against a 15-11. He opened with 1d4, I responded with d5, c4, c6, reinforcing that d5 point, knight c3 attacking it, knight f6 defending it, bishop f4, and Engine doesn't really like this move, more natural is knight f3. The bishop is often a target on f4 for a knight coming to d5. It also, sometimes the unprotected state of the b2 pawn is also a factor. Engine wants to take this unprotected pawn already and prepare to support it with b5, or like I just indicated, after something like this, the bishop is a target. The Engine gives a weird line here, but I just developed my pieces. Queen c1 is a very strange move. I think White was hoping that on a good day he could do something like takes, and then maybe knight b5, trying to land a fork here on c7, but this just does not work. The queen, by moving to c1, unprotected the d-pawn. I just captured. I'm ready to support this pawn. This is just a free extra pawn. White can't even play e4 and try to get some sort of Geller gambit because I control this square and because d4 is hanging, so this is just an opening disaster for my opponent. White compounds the problem by playing bishop takes b8. So White moved the bishop twice to capture a knight that hasn't moved. So White spent time taking something that I had to spend no time on. My rook recaptures, and now a move that I wanted to play anyway, b5, is now supported by the rook. So pretty quickly here, we're going to see that black has a very simple win condition, and it's just trade off the remaining material and push these queenside pawns. Opponent played queen f4, and I guess he thought he was forking here, but my queen protects that rook, and so I just played the very natural e6. Engine prefers bishop g6 so that e4 isn't coming with tempo, but I liked just the very natural move e6, defending the bishop, preparing to develop the other bishop. Opponent played e3, and now could play bishop d6 as pointed out by the Engine, but b5 is completely winning, very simple. This pawn is protected. Black has all the pieces working. Bishop d6 is going to come with tempo, and White really struggles to develop. Knight f3, bishop d6, queen g5, but I can just castle to protect g7. And after knight e5, White again moves an already developed piece, has not gotten these pieces off the back rank or into the game at all. And again, my win condition is simple. I've got this pawn majority and I'm up material and I just want to push. So I trade off that knight. White recaptures, and then knight e4, which is a move the Engine doesn't care for that I absolutely love. It's still completely winning, even though the Engine calls it a blunder. It forces trades. It ends with me dominating the only open file. And now look at the pawn transformation. Now I have a 4-on-2. Previously, White had a pawn on d4 that could try to slow down these pawns, but now this 4-on-2 makes the endgame incredibly simple. White can never promote these pawns, so even though White has an extra kingside pawn, these are never able to form a passer, whereas these 4-on-2 are just going to steamroll White, as we'll see. So White captured, I recaptured, so now I'm hitting his queen, and if he takes, rook fd8, and I'm on the open file. So he didn't want to trade since he's down a material, which makes sense, but now I can throw in this check. And queen a5 check just completely disrupts any coordination white ever dreamed of having. Has to play king e2, which makes the bishop sad, which makes the rook sad. And so now, I just drop back. Now, in addition to a huge lead in development and activity, a much safer king, and all endgames are completely winning because of the 4-on-2 majority. This game is just a very easy conversion, and I didn't screw it up. So queen d4, just rook d8, getting the last piece into the game with tempo. Opponent played queen c3, and I thought for a long time here, because I thought, I can't trade queens. There's a much cooler knockout. This king does not deserve to survive. And after a while I thought, why? Why allow the game to get complicated at all when I can just capture? And remember my win condition. My win condition is push the pawns. You're up material. You have more active pieces. There's no need to get fancy. Once the queens come off, white has no hope of even pulling off a swindle. And so I just traded and invaded on d3, attacking the c3 pawn, again dominating the file. Opponent played a4, trying to open up the a file and pretend this rook is developed and useful. I just took on c3. The c3 pawn is the barrier to these pawns running, and we end up trading white's c pawn for my a7 pawn. But look at what that transformation did. It gave me two connected passers supported by rooks and the bishop that are just too fast. And again, white is just playing with one rook. White is essentially down a bishop and a rook. So I just push, which has been the plan ever since, I don't know, move 5. And so finally we see that it's coming to fruition. Let's get back to our position here. So I push the pawn, king f3, but it's too little too late. Just b3, this pawn is running, protected by both rooks and the bishop. Bishop e2, b2, h4, again opponent trying to make the rook look useful, but just rook c1. Now I'm attacking his rook and blocking the rook's path to the b1 square. And I guess he just forgot that his rook was also attacked and played h6, so I took it. He took my bishop, I took back with the h-pawn. Now I also have some lift for the king, so I'm never getting back rank checkmated. That would be a very embarrassing way to lose this game. Opponent took my pawn, but I got to promote with the queen, and now up just a ridiculous amount of material. Just a few moves left, g3, queen f5, and I found a cool mate here. So starting with queen e4 check, forcing the pawn forward, and now the queen can get in. So temporarily sacrificing the rook, but it's for the purpose of delivering checkmate, and opponent played it out to the bitter end and finally checkmated him. So, takeaways from this game: weird moves so early in the opening get punished, and the way you punish them is with simple, natural, developing moves. So queen c1 removes the queen from the center, undefends d4. It just can't be right. The position called for e3, supporting the pawn, or knight f3. These are natural, developing moves, and those are the right moves. Queen c1 deserves to be punished, and I did punish it. A very common idea in the Slav is to eventually take, and if white doesn't react appropriately, to defend it with b5, and that's just what happened here. This is just unforgivable. Capturing a piece on the back rank that hasn't moved yet with an already developed piece, I mean, you just can't play chess that way and hope to survive or improve or win games. And if the point was that he thought queen f4 was forking, then it's an enormous tactical error, and he, like everybody else, needs to keep grinding those tactics. Again, unnatural moves get punished by natural ones. Just e6. Engine says there are better moves, but this protects the bishop, opens up the path for the other bishop to develop. In this game I played very simple, natural chess. Engine doesn't think it's a very accurate game, but I'm completely winning throughout, and the difference between a -7 and a -4 with no complications whatsoever is only an academic argument. It has nothing to do with practical results. Again, just natural development. And I like a couple of moments in this game. So trading down, leading to this 4-on-2 pawn structure. I really love that decision. I really love the idea of once I went for that pawn structure, trading pieces, and then spotting this check was critical. It completely disrupts the coordination. And if if white wants to avoid getting mated, then he has to allow this queen trade, and this is just a completely winning, very easy endgame. And even though the engine thinks there are stronger moves, this is by far the simplest into my puny little human brain. So, hope you enjoyed it. Pretty decent tournament overall. Yeah, hope you got something out of it. Keep grinding those tactics. Thanks for watching.